just get this to translate over there.
Hello everybody, I'm actually very excited to talk about this topic today. I guess I should start off with introducing myself for those of you who are new. My name is Brooke. I am she and I rising. She being the past version of myself, I being the most developed current version of myself. And now that we have introduced ourselves, thank you to those of you who have come back to continue to watch my channel. I appreciate and love you so much. So today we're going to talk about my gut health journey. So like I said before I made my official first video, I have a lot of things that I want to talk about on this channel. Health, wellness, fitness, gardening, medicine, all different kinds of topics. And I decided that I was going to do my gut health journey today because I think part of it that I want to get into is kind of interesting, and maybe some of you are also dealing with this as well, and kind of what I've been doing to help, because I'll get into it, but the circumstance that I'm in, there's not really a cure, but you can modify your lifestyle for it and help make it at least a little bit better or tolerable. And I will start with my backstory. So as far as my gut health goes, I have never ever had any issues with my gut. That is, until I started nursing school. Now, there's a lot of different thought processes behind why people develop what I have, and like I said, I'll get more into what I have, but it's a part of the story. There's speculation that it has to do with stress. There's speculations that it has to do with previous stomach viruses. There's speculation that it has to do with getting antibiotics at one point and your gut bacteria never really restoring. But for me, my gut issues probably started because of stress. And again, this is just a theory. I haven't really read any reputable articles. However, the speculations to me seem logical, especially coming with a medical background, being a nurse. Like, there are some things that just make sense, and it would make sense if you had a period of stress in your life. We already know that chronic stress has a lot of side effects. It can affect your sleep, it can affect your mood, it can affect your digestive system. It affects so many different things, and I just feel like for me personally, I could say subjectively that I more so align with I've had a lot of chronic stress and that has affected my digestive system. But more recently, I've also not had much good sleep. I've never really slept good. I can't remember the last time I slept good. It really depends person to person, so it's really hard for me to say what it was for me. I'm just speculating. I feel like I'm pretty self-aware about my body, but I'm getting way off track. So when I started nursing school, and this is gonna be like TMI, but I really don't care. When I started nursing school, I didn't start to have symptoms until maybe halfway through. And I mean, I rarely get sick. I rarely ever have to make trips to the emergency room. So the fact that I had to go to the emergency room for my symptoms and what they were at the time was insane to me. Like, I thought I had stomach cancer or something. I was freaking out. And basically, my symptoms were just my stomach hurt so freaking bad. And it really didn't make sense to me personally because I, along with being a nurse, so I'm educated in that aspect of things, I'm also a certified personal trainer. So the topic of food and nutrition and health and wellness is not a distant topic to me. Very familiar with all of the things that people tell you to do as far as making sure you're having like regular bowel movements and getting in all your macronutrients, getting all your micronutrients in, and I eat accordingly. So when I got diagnosed with what was eventually my diagnosis of IBS, I was like, is this a joke? Say psych. Because when I ended up going to the hospital, they basically just told me, you're full of shit. And I was like, okay. And they said, you also have gas, pretty much like all the way up to here. I said, okay. It made sense that what I had going on was causing me to not eat, be uncomfortable all the time, not being able to have normal bowel movements like I usually do. And I'm somebody who's I want to be independent. I'm an advocate for quality of life. So even little things like that disrupted my daily life and my mental, because I'm just like, what is happening? This is getting in the way of my gains. That was my number one concern. And so finally getting diagnosed with IBS-C after I ended up having to go and get a colonoscopy, and they took some biopsies and they really didn't find anything. They were just kind of like, I guess you have IBS-C. And you pretty much get diagnosed with IBS-D or C. C classifies as constipation, D classifies as diarrhea, because you can have both a disruption of the pathway from your brain to your belly. That's kind of just what they give you when there's nothing else left to give you, which I also didn't appreciate. Like, on one hand, I got somewhat of an answer, but on the other hand, the diagnosis in of itself was not a clear answer, because we still really don't know what causes it, or at least we think we know what causes it, but it's so individualized and multifactorial, it's really hard to pinpoint, especially if you were trying to treat somebody for it. And like I said, it's so broad. Like, I can definitely say I was under a lot of stress and not getting very much sleep, and maybe I got like a stomach virus at that time. I can't even recall at this point. But even then, they're still kind of looking into cause and effect, and then that's a whole separate issue from how are we treating it. So I'm kind of just stuck here for a minute. I know they do have medications now for IBS, and of course you have the normal lifestyle modification recommendations. But the lifestyle recommendations for modifying your diet and modifying this and that, like, I'm already doing all that. And it's funny to say, but even as a nurse, I am truly, honestly, one of those people that is the last person to want to take a medication. Like, if I don't have to take it, I'm not going to. And honestly, the more I get into herbal medicine, knowing that a lot of the medications that we have now are derived from herbs and plants, I'm not saying I'm against big pharma. I'm just saying that I'm definitely more holistic. But again, I'm getting off topic. So once I got diagnosed with IBS-C, I want to say that of course they gave me my discharge summary, which basically just said, let's just start with the lifestyle changes, and I already knew what the outcome of that was going to be. I have been referred to GI doctors, which it's like, I had went to one once after my colonoscopy, and they pretty much just told me to drink more water and take Metamucil. It's like, I already know those options are out there, and I don't need to take fiber in the form of a pill. I get plenty of fiber from my diet already. So then I had to have kind of a really hard talk with myself about being strict about managing your stress and getting the proper amount of sleep. And I guess I can say that that was to a point, because I was still in nursing school, and for somebody who needs to avoid stress and try to manage their sleep the best that they can, we're already not looking so hot. And if I have my timeline correct, I won't. I'll just tell you the things that I did. So I was hoping that after I got out of nursing school, it would improve a little bit, and it definitely did. For me, my particular IBS-C symptoms, yes, I'm the type that's constipated. I get a lot of gas to the point where sometimes I can't eat or I don't have an appetite. I get super bloated, especially when I wake up. And it really doesn't matter what food I eat. I always just have a heightened sense of awareness of I feel super full and uncomfortable. And I know at one point I had tried ashwagandha because I was trying to target the stress part of things. And I know some of you who have me on social media have seen that video, and I won't really rehash it too much just because that was a while ago that I tried doing that, and ultimately it was unsuccessful. So to go into detail is kind of because ashwagandha is one of those things where it takes time to work. The dosage really just depends on you. The side effects really just depend on you. Although there have been credible and reputable studies done on ashwagandha to show its effect on stress and mood, It simply just didn't work for me. I can definitely provide the article that I referenced previously. I believe I still have it, but it's really just not worth mentioning or going into depth with because it personally didn't work for me. And my whole idea here is to kind of just tell you my route and what I ended up finding out was working for me pretty well, especially if you're more holistic and, you know, don't want to get prescription medication. Ashwagandha is on the holistic side as well. That's why I decided to try it. But it, like I said, it just didn't work for me. So I was looking into other things and I came across magnesium. Magnesium, for those of you who don't know, I'll just give you a summary. Magnesium is an electrolyte. I actually use it in the hospital commonly when people have constipation. Basically, magnesium is just an electrolyte that helps regulate nerves, muscle contractions, helps with energy level. And I found out that you could get it over the counter. Then ended up finding out that there's many different kinds of magnesium. Did a little bit of research, found out what kind of magnesium was for what, or what derivative of magnesium was supposed to work for what. And I ended up coming up with these two things. I'm gonna go grab them. I'm gonna try and get them in the camera so you can see them. I actually have to take some. But I have magnesium, is it glycinate? Yeah. Glycinate, I don't know. It doesn't matter. You can read. And magnesium citrate, or unless it's like, is it backwards? Yeah. But these two, so magnesium citrate and magnesium glycinate. The reason that I chose both of these is because this one in particular has to do with more so muscle recovery, which is needed for me because I am a gym girly and sometimes I don't get a lot of sleep and I really need help regulating my muscle contractions and helping my muscles heal and recover. So that's the reason behind this one. This one here, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it's a bit of a horse pill, but I'm pretty good at taking pills. But I'll let you guys examine this. This one is for my poop problems. So this we actually give to people in the hospital as almost like it almost looks like a fizzy soda. I think they have it like in a fruit flavor, but basically magnesium citrate, what it does is it helps absorb water, making your bowel movements softer and easy to push out. It also promotes peristalsis, which is just a fancy way of saying it helps move things along in your digestive system. And listen, you guys, these are Nature's Truth brand. I don't remember if I just picked up the cheapest one or whatever one had a coupon. I don't know. I didn't really look at the dosages, or maybe I did before I picked them up, like I did my research beforehand, and that's also a factor in how I chose these. I don't even remember now because I've been taking these for a while. But the directions for these, both of these, are to take 2 capsules daily, which is once a day. However, what I do with these is I'll take 1 of each in the morning and then 1 of each at night, so that way I get my 2 daily, but it's spaced out. I don't really know if it makes a difference personally for me, but I just wanted the most coverage that I could possibly get. And actually I have to take them now, so I'm going to fill up my water bottle real quick, and it would be logical of you guys to wonder, you know, how long did it take for these to work for me? I honestly could not tell you because I don't think at one point I was taking both of these at the same time. At first I started with this one and then I came across this one. And like I said, it's hard to say because I'm really trying to reduce all the factors that contribute to my symptoms. Like, trying to reduce stress, trying to get more sleep, trying to drink more water, really trying to be really mindful of how much fiber I eat, all those kinds of things. But I will say that before I got diagnosed with IBS and all of that crap started happening, because I did end up going to the emergency room another time most recently because it just felt different, like my symptoms had flip-flopped as far as what I'm normally used to, so I thought it was definitely something else. And when they did the scans, they did say that my my small intestine was a little inflamed, so it could have been like a viral stomach virus or something. I don't know. Those were the only 2 times I really ever flared up so bad that I was like, I need medical intervention. But really the best thing that helped me in both of those situations was just giving my bowels some time to rest and then kind of working my way back up to eating and things again. But I will definitely say that I do notice when I miss doses of these, more so this one because we're talking about my gut issues. If I miss this, it's like back to square one. Like I can definitely tell I'm more bloated. My bowel movements are not as on schedule as they normally are. Because like, again, not to be TMI, but like I'm used to talking about this stuff, whether it's myself or my patients or whatever. My normal bowel movements were like 2 to 3 times a day. If I take this out of the equation, I go back to maybe 1 a day. Maybe. And I eat a lot of food, you guys. It does not sit right with me when I don't have at least 1 bowel movement a day. I eat a lot of food. If I do not go, I am so uncomfortable. But this has been my saving grace. And this is just a little cherry on top. Because I'm just the girl trying to get some muscles. So that's one part of the equation. The other part of the equation is eating a lot of probiotics, prebiotics. Do I know if it's actually helping? I'm not really sure because number 1, I used to eat all of these foods to begin with. And number 2, I still get mild symptoms from time to time. And that is regardless if I eat my pre and probiotics or not. Like I was at a point where I went to a doctor's visit because I felt so inflamed all over. I still do, but that could be from my workout regimen and also my sleep and my stress. But I was like, I want to get tested for food allergies because what is going on? You know what I mean? But I will say that I'm definitely more so prioritizing them now than I did before. So I'm eating a lot of bananas, eating a lot of cottage cheese, however you all feel about that. I know there's some people that are so against cottage cheese, but I'm a firm believer that you just haven't had it the right way yet. Kefir is new. I don't even know if that's how you say it. I apologize. I'm ignorant. But it's like a fermented like yogurt, right? And it's like super sour, but I usually just eat it with apples, which is also a good fibrous food to pair it with. Apples and honey and almonds, and the sour taste is like there for a second, but then it actually tastes pretty good with the sweetness of the apples and the honey, and then you have like a little crunch of almond in there. It's nice. But yeah, those I have in a pretty good rotation. I also eat a lot of sourdough, which is nice because I love bread. Definitely not opposed to onion and garlic. I just try to make really simple meal preps anymore, and onion and garlic just really aren't a part of my ingredient list. And I'm also not opposed to oats if I want a sweet little snack, and I'm really trying not to be bad. I'll just like pour a bowl of oats and then mix it with peanut butter and eat it like that. But preferably I like to make smoothies with it. I just don't have a blender currently. That is my next purchase. There's also kombucha, which I like, but it just has so much sugar, dude. And honestly, just with all of those things combined right now, I'm at a pretty stable state. I feel like that's what's worked best for me. And like I said, a lot of the stuff that they kept telling me to do, I was already doing. I will say with work, it's been really hard to be religiously drinking water all the time. I'm so busy running around like a chicken with my head cut off that I usually like will and can go pretty much my whole day without water, it usually hits me around 4 p.m. where I'm like, oh shoot, I didn't drink any water all day, and then I'll try and chug my whole Stanley before I get off of work. Water, the fiber, which I track my macros when I meal prep. I haven't recently just because I feel like it was unnecessarily adding more stress, so I ended up nixing that for a little bit just so my mental stress can go down. But otherwise, I would track my meals, and my fiber has never been a problem. I understand that there's insoluble fiber and there's soluble fiber. I tried to eat a lot of both and pair it with water. And it's not like I wasn't like inactive. You know how they always say, like, if you feel like you have to go and it's not coming, try going for a walk. Exercising usually helps stimulate some kind of movement. It's like I was checking all of those boxes, and I was like, what the heck else can I do without also like expending more energy and giving myself more stress worrying about this? And honestly, I would say holy grail. This is holy grail because it's really easy for me to eat. Like, I'm not one to like shy away from eating. Food's the easy part. The hard part for me is my stress and my sleep. That is an issue that I can technically get medication for, but again, I'm not content with that. I really think it has to do a lot with my career choice. And I think it's so ironic because I remember getting into this career, like, you know, because I was going to do personal training, and I was just like, you know, personal training is good for me. I love the gym. I love being healthy. I love fitness. I don't want to put my love for that in a job setting and then get stressed out at my job. It's like, no. But then I went into nursing. Sure. But yeah, that's definitely an issue that I'm working on internally and externally, and I hope to have updates on that for you guys soon. But right now, I would say that if you are somebody who is struggling with IBS or just chronic constipation, whatever your case may be, please try some magnesium citrate. Like I said, I really couldn't tell you when the actual effect of it started working in my favor, but what I can tell you is I can tell when I skip doses of this, I can tell that I effed up. It also wouldn't be fair of me to not include 2 other supplements that I have, although I'm kind of skeptical as to if they work or not. And it's these, and I think it's because my stress is just comes from so many different areas that I really need to kind of treat it like that. It's a lot more complex than I think these 2 little bottles can really solve on their own. But if anything, if it is just a placebo and it works some days more than others, then I'm cool with that. I have these if I want them. It's L-theanine and GABA. GABA is a neurotransmitter that has to deal with rest and relaxation. It's labeled as stress support. And L-theanine is another one that I did research on previously. I don't really remember what information I gathered about it that I wanted to know specifically, but I remember looking it up, and then I saw this and saw that it said double strength, and I was like, give it to me now. On the bottle it says supports a relaxed and calm mood. Now, like I said, I really think this more so has a lot to do with your mental and your mind. So I think that's why some days I feel like these work for me when I take it, and other days not so much. Like, there's only so much intervention that can outweigh the actual problem, you know what I mean? But it wouldn't be fair of me to not mention these because I do have them and I do use them on occasion. I'm going to use them tonight just because, I don't know, today I just don't feel rushed, and I'm going to try and go to bed early, and I think that there's not really a lot of stress that my body is showing or that my mental is showcasing for me, because I like I said, I feel like I'm pretty self-aware, so I don't think there's a lot of resistance. So I'm going to try and use these tonight. I know that when I used, what did I use? I think I think maybe I was using just these for a while and then this came into the picture later on. And I just remember taking it and then like falling asleep so fast and waking up feeling more refreshed than I have in a really long time. But again, like I said, that could be because like I had the day off the next day, or I was like really tired that night and it just happened to be that way, and I was really comfortable in bed and like the temperature was just right. Like, I don't know. There's so many different factors. Like, this is a very complex problem. Stress and gut and mind. But yes, that is my journey with gut health. I hope that in the future I have more to talk about when it comes to gut health, because I really do need to look into some more reputable articles. I just have not had the mental capacity to sit down and read a research study, because I'm sure there's more stuff out there. I also have like a big herbal holistic medicine book. I want to do a series on that in the future. Maybe just pick 1 or 2 things out of the book to try every month or every 2 weeks or something. But again, I just don't feel like I'm quite there yet with my time, my very little free time that I have now. But hopefully I can do that with you guys in the future. For now, I'll just kind of keep you updated on my journey with what I currently have going. But that is all the information that I have to share with you guys today. What was that? Oh, thanks for tuning in. Let me know what you thought of the video in the comments. If you have any kind of holistic remedy that has worked for you, please share it in the comments. I'd love to hear about it and your experience with it. If you want to stay in touch with me and all the topics that I talk about on this channel, hit the subscribe button, share my videos. I can't thank those of you enough who have supported me through all of this. This is definitely not something that I ever saw myself doing, but I really cannot express how much it means to me when those of you that I know come up to me in person and tell me that you really enjoy my channel content and to keep pushing more of it out, and for taking the time to like and comment. It is really nice to have a community of people that like what I like and take interest in the things that I like and support me through all of it. So thank you to every last one of you. I cannot thank you enough. And I'm hoping that here soon I have a really, really exciting video to release to you guys. I still don't really have all the information yet, but it's really deserving of its own video. And so until then, I will see you guys next time, and thank you again for tuning in. My name is Brooke, and this is She and I Rising, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!
Guys, I'm so silly. I forgot to mention one more thing that I have in my cabinet. It is senna. Senna is a laxative. Senna is not magnesium citrate. Senna is not Miralax. It is a laxative. You will go poop. I have extra strength. 17.2 milligrams. It'll get you right. And on that note, good night.